What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to talk about OG Fortnite and if I think it should become a permanent mode as an option in Fortnite. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like some more, and comment down below what you think of this topic. So OG Fortnite came out, and going into it, it was known that it was going to be a month long from the start, and a lot of players pretty much ever since this season started have wanted it to remain as a permanent option game mode. I've seen a lot of arguments with this where people who don't like it say that that shouldn't be a thing. I don't really know how it affects you if you don't like it, if it's an option as a game mode. If it was just like permanent and there was no more BR updates, I get why that would annoy people, but I'm talking about it being a separate option that you can choose to queue into. And that's, what we're going to be talking about in this video. And for starters, regardless of how you feel about the game mode, like if this season has been one of your least favorite and you've hated the game, you cannot deny that like OG Fortnite has been very successful, and like it is clearly there's a lot of people who enjoy it. I think early on, like the opening weekend broke the player count record, or like the concurrent player count record for Fortnite ever. And then even as of the time I'm recording this, in the final week of the season, the final few days of the season, build mode BR has about 2.5 million people playing it across regular and ranked. Ranked actually has more players as of the time I'm recording this. So clearly, 2.5 million people still actively playing in the final week of a season. There's a lot of people who enjoy this. And that's actually somewhat surprising to me, because when this initially dropped and there was a lot of hype for it, I thought, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of people who enjoyed the game back then, and then this kind of returning as a one-off event, there's going to be a lot of interest in it early on. But I kind of thought this season would be something that like blew up, super hype early on, and then just kind of like dropped off after a week or two. I didn't think a lot of the players that returned to the game would like keep actively playing. Thought it was more people, getting on, checking it out, and then kind of going about their lives after that. But it has remained strong. The player count, and you could definitely argue that people are playing more since they kind of know this is a one-off 1 month thing, and that after this month ends it's going to be gone, so they might as well enjoy it now. And then also the weekly updates have kept it fresh to an extent. But either way, there's clearly a lot of people who have had a good time playing OG Fortnite and continue to play it regularly, and I think they would continue to play it if it were a permanent option. And whenever something like this, like introducing OG Fortnite as a separate game mode, is brought up, a lot of people kind of talk about how it would be bad because it would divide the player base. And, it definitely would divide the player base to an extent, having both build and zero build, solo, duo, trio squads for the current season, plus OG Fortnite, plus potentially the ranked modes for either, game mode, is a lot of game modes. But I don't really think that's something that Epic cares about that much, because if you open up the game, like you go into Fortnite and you try to find a mode to play, there is no shortage of game modes to play. And a lot of these modes are creative modes that don't require 100 players, but still, like, there's a lot of stuff in Fortnite. I don't think they're that concerned about dividing the player base, and oftentimes BR isn't even the main choice when you go into select a game mode in Fortnite. And with Chapter 5, there's even more high quality game modes coming to the game, like the Lego mode, the racing mode. There's some sort of music game mode coming to the game by the people who made Rock Band. Epic Games, I don't think really cares about this many people are playing BR, we need to make sure that number stays as high as possible. I think they just want people playing Fortnite, and the more people playing Fortnite is the better for them, because they're going to make more money from people buying things in the item shop. So I don't really think having too many options is something that Fortnite really cares about. And if it was, I think that point has already been reached. It is a hassle to try to find what you're looking for in the UI most of the time. So adding a few more game modes, I don't really think changes that at all. The main reason why I don't think Fortnite will keep this as a permanent mode is because then they can't tap into that nostalgia with any of the Chapter 1 stuff in the future. I don't think they could ever do an entire OG Fortnite season like this again and have it be as hype as it currently is. I think it's kind of like a one-time thing, you know what I mean? Once you've done it, and it's just never going to hit the same. But even before this, Fortnite would often tap into player nostalgia to hype up certain seasons or updates or events or whatever. The first teaser for the Season X, which was the final season of Chapter 1, so even in 2019, when the game had been out for 2 years, they were tapping into nostalgia. The first teaser for this season just showed Dusty Depot before the meteor hit it, and then there was an X in the background. And this got a lot of players excited because Dusty Depot was a POI that was destroyed in Chapter 1, Season 4, and pretty much ever since it was destroyed, people wanted it back, and people wanted to land at the nearby factories again. And so, you know, like I said, even when the game had only been out for 2 years, they were already kind of tapping into this nostalgia. I think the Season X trailer also featured the TAC SMG, which was a weapon that, you know, a lot of players had memories of. One of the more exciting reveals for the Chapter 3 map was Tilted Towers being on the map and being frozen, and then it melted and revealed the POI on the 4-year anniversary of Tilted Towers being added to the map. I think it was January 18th, 2018 was when it was added, and then January 18th, 2022 is when they revealed it on the Chapter 3 map, and that was like a huge kind of like point of excitement on the Chapter 3 map, because again, Tilted Towers was a POI that a lot of people wanted to return ever since it was removed. I believe in Season 9 when the Neo Tilted came in of Chapter 1, it was removed. And I think even in Chapter 2, they kind of like baited Tilted Towers coming back with like Salty Towers, which was like a mashup of Salty and Tilted, but I didn't play those seasons. But my point stands. It's like something they would always kind of like tease and hint Tilted coming back. And then finally it happened in Chapter 3. And then another example is going to be with the launch of Chapter 4. The Scar was added back into the loot pool after being removed in Chapter 3. So Chapter 3, they like completely reworked the loot pool. The Scar and the pump were gone. The TAC shotgun was gone. A lot of like iconic Fortnite weapons were removed. And you know, the moment that happened, people wanted it back, people wanted it back, people wanted it back. And then Chapter 4 comes, the Scar drops. There's a lot of people that were excited to play with the Scar again. It turned out to not be, you know, it in Chapter 4, but the point is there. They often tap into the nostalgia, not to the extent of what they did with Fortnite OG, but it's been something they've used to promote seasons and promote chapters and promote updates for since Fortnite Chapter 1, pretty much. They've always done it. So having these POIs and these weapons playable in a BR setting, I think would reduce a lot of that hype and a lot of that excitement for these things to return. It would just like that nostalgia wouldn't have any fuel. You know what I mean? We've had them in creative. There's been like Tilted Tower Zone Wars. You can use any weapon you want in creative, and that clearly didn't like quench people's thirst for those items or those POIs, because if it did, like people wouldn't be excited for it to return in BR. But I do think having Fortnite OG as a permanent game mode would kind of reduce the excitement if a POI like Retail Row returned in like Chapter 5 Season 4 or whatever. You know what I mean? Having it playable in a BR setting, I think, is very different than having it playable in creative, and we've kind of seen that over time with how the community reacted to like certain weapons returning to the game. So that is kind of the main reason why I don't think they'll keep this game mode around, is just because they can't tap into that nostalgia and they can't tap into that excitement in the future. It just reduces the hype for those things to return. It'd be like if McDonald's had the McRib on the menu 24/7, they wouldn't be able to generate any hype or publicity for its return. And it's something that returns like every year, it seems, you know, and for some reason it's advertised a lot. Clearly people, you know, get it when it returns, but they vault it or take it off the menu so that later on they can build hype again by bringing it back. And I think Fortnite kind of does a similar thing with a lot of like the items and a lot of POIs and stuff. They have a huge library of POIs and items already made that, you know, if they bring back, people are going to be excited. If they bring back Holly Hedges from Chapter 2, people will be excited. Agency is a POI from Chapter 2 that got a lot of hype. People think it might be returning in Chapter 5, and that would be a huge point of excitement for the people who really liked Agency in Chapter 2. So that's like kind of the main reason why I don't think they'll bring it back. Even some of the characters with the Chapter 4 Season 4 trailer, I think Midas's hand was shown in it, and a lot of people were excited for Midas to potentially return. Didn't happen, but the point is still there. Like, they have all these characters, all these POIs, all these weapons that they can bring back into the game at any time to generate hype and excitement for. Whereas like having Fortnite OG playable, I think kind of people won't miss those items and people won't miss those POIs as much because they can go and play it at any time. And then also one final thing I want to talk about is just going to be the fact that with Fortnite OG, I do think the player count has remained strong over the course of the month, but I think, like I talked about at the start, people know it's a month, so they want to get their fill while they can, and then also there's been weekly updates. If they just kind of left it in the Season X state for months and months and months and didn't update it, I don't think it would have the player count even remotely close to what it has now, 6 or 8 months from now. I just don't think that would be possible. They've done a good job of like keeping this short, keeping it concise, and keeping it packed full of updates to like keep people coming back. But I do think if they just left it as is for months and months and months, the hype wouldn't be there. So that is kind of what I think overall with OG Fortnite. I don't think it should remain a permanent game mode, or I don't think it will. I don't really care if it does or doesn't, to be honest. I would, like, if we had OG Fortnite in Chapter 5 Season 1, I'm playing Chapter 5 Season 1. If they had it as a game mode option for the people who enjoy OG Fortnite or prefer that, I don't think that's a problem. I don't understand why people care so much about what other people want to play. So to me, I don't, if they keep it as like a game mode, that's fine. I just don't think it will happen, is what I was trying to say. But again, I don't know why people care so much about like wanting it to not stay because they personally don't like it when it's just an option. It's no big deal. So I do think that one of the kind of ways they could use this though is for the Fortnite birthday event. Every year they have like the birthday event where they have like the cake on the map and they have the birthday battle bus. If they had Fortnite OG as like a option during that week, I think that would make a lot of sense, and it would still kind of bring, like, keep the hype there, because it would be a week every year where people could get on and play OG Fortnite. But again, I would like it as an option during that week and not like a permanent, like, or not like a replacement. Like with Fortnite OG, they replaced the Chapter 4 map and then added this. If they ever bring this back again, I would prefer for it to be, a weekly one-off event and have it be like an option for people who do want to play it. But that is going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, subscribe to like some more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.